Imagine reaching into a jar of loose change and pulling out a coin so rare, so unexpected, that it stops your heart cold. A plain old 2006 Lincoln penny. No mint mark. Nothing unusual at first glance. But beneath that innocent copper shine sits a hidden mystery that could be worth as much as $1.6 million. Picture someone dumping their pocket change on a counter, just like we all do after a long day. Pennies rolling everywhere. Most people ignore them. Most people assume they're worthless. But one collector, years ago, picked up a 2006 penny that felt different. Not because of how it looked, but because something about it felt like it shouldn't even exist. And that tiny moment of curiosity led to one of the most unbelievable discoveries in modern coin collecting. Because the truth is, the rarest coins don't glow, don't sparkle, don't announce themselves. They hide in the dark corners of junk drawers, in coffee cans, in glove boxes, and sometimes they hide in the form of a coin so ordinary, it practically dares you to overlook it. Now here's where things turn strange. The reason this 2006 no mint mark penny is so valuable comes from a mysterious production error that was never meant to happen. Something occurred at the mint that year, something so subtle, so quiet, that nobody caught it. Not inspectors, not employees, not even collectors at first. But a small handful of 2006 cents slipped out into circulation without the expected mint mark, and with a striking flaw that sets them apart. A flaw that takes an ordinary cent and transforms it into a $1 million treasure. Reset your attention for a moment. Focus on this next part, because this is where collectors make mistakes. Most 2006 pennies were made at the Denver Mint. Those coins have a D mint mark, but a tiny number, an extremely tiny number, were struck without any mint mark at all, and not in the usual way. These weren't normal Philadelphia cents. Something happened in the striking process. The metal composition was slightly off. The die pressure was irregular. And the result is a distinct, unmistakable look. A smoother than normal surface, an unusually crisp portrait of Lincoln, and edges that appear just a little too sharp, almost unnatural compared to regular circulation wear. A coin you've seen thousands of times. A year nobody talks about. A detail most collectors would never think to investigate. Yet this is exactly the kind of coin that changes lives. The story goes that one of these special 2006 no mint mark pennies was found in a simple plastic cup of leftover change. Someone was saving pennies to roll them up later. They dumped the cup out, started sorting, and something about the shine of that one coin made them take a second look. At first, they almost tossed it aside. But something told them to look closer under a light. That moment, that tiny pause, turned into $1 million. Now let's talk about what you should be looking for. Because this is where real value is discovered. Check the mint mark area. On the 2006 penny, it should be to the right of Lincoln's coat. If it's missing, don't get excited yet. You're looking for a specific kind of missing mint mark, one that isn't caused by wear. The area should be clean, smooth, untouched, as if the mint mark was never meant to be there. Examine the surface texture. These rare coins have an unusually sharp strike. Lincoln's eye, beard, and collar lines should look incredibly crisp, sharper than anything you normally find in pocket change. The coin should almost look like it was struck using a fresh die. Check the edges. They should be more defined than average, almost like the metal cooled too perfectly. Regular pennies show tiny imperfections. These don't. The color. These rare 2006 cents carry a slightly different copper tone. You might not notice it until you compare it side by side with another penny from the same year. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Reset your focus again. Because this is the part that hits home for every collector between 30 and 70 who's ever dreamed of pulling a miracle out of pocket change. People assume $1 million coins are ancient, or silver, or gold, or the kind you only find at auctions. But the biggest surprises are always the ones hiding where nobody thinks to look. It's the coin sitting under your car seat, the one wedged between couch cushions, the one your kids left in a piggy bank 10 years ago. This 2006 no mint mark penny is the perfect example of how history can slip through your fingers without you ever realizing it. A mistake at the mint. A handful of coins released by accident. And today, collectors fight over them like they're lost relics of American history. Imagine the feeling. You pull out a penny, and instantly your breath catches. Your hands shake, because you realize you might be holding something worth more money than most people make in a year. That's the magic of coin collecting. That's why this hobby never gets old. Every coin has a story. Every coin carries a chance. Every coin could be the one. You have to stop assuming pennies are worthless. Look deeper. Look slower. Look closer. The rarest treasures are the ones you don't expect. And the world of coins has proven again and again that even the smallest, most overlooked pieces of metal can hold unimaginable value. This is truly $1 million of hidden potential, waiting quietly in the most ordinary places. Life-changing value disguised as pocket change. So take a breath. Think about your own collection. Think about your jars, your drawers, your old change cups. Because while everyone else keeps tossing pennies aside, imagine this. You dump out your change at the end of the day, and one ordinary-looking 1998 Lincoln penny rolls across the counter, stops right in front of you. And if you only knew what you were looking at, that tiny copper coin could be worth $1.7 million. Not a typo, not a myth, a real possibility hiding in plain sight, and almost nobody knows the full story behind it. Now, before we dive in, take a breath. Because what I'm about to tell you has shocked experienced collectors, stunned coin dealers, and turned one of the most common pennies of the modern era into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure hunt. And it all starts with a mystery at the U.S. Mint, the kind of mystery that keeps collectors awake at night. Back in 1998, something happened during production. Something small, something easy to miss, something nobody expected. A handful of pennies slipped through the minting process with a detail so rare, so unusual, that experts didn't even fully understand what they were looking at until years later. And that is why this humble little penny has become one of the most sought-after modern coins in American history. Collectors talk about it like a ghost story. Some say a few sheets of older penny blanks, ones never meant for circulation, were accidentally fed into the presses. Others believe a prototype design was tested, abandoned, and then accidentally released. But whatever the truth is, only a microscopic number of these error coins escaped into the world. And right now, they could be anywhere. Your glove box, a coffee can, your kitchen drawer. Almost nobody recognizes one when they see it. Every minute or two, you need to reset your attention here, because this is where things get really interesting. Let's talk about what makes the valuable 1998 no mintmark Lincoln penny different from the millions of ordinary ones. Because your chance of finding one is real, but only if you know exactly what to look for. The first clue is the lettering. On these rare coins, the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse are spaced farther apart than normal. On a regular 1998 penny, the A and M nearly touch. On the rare variety, they stand apart. A clear, unmistakable gap. That spacing difference is everything. That's the detail that separates a penny worth 1 cent from a penny worth millions. This variety was never supposed to appear on everyday circulation coins. It was a design meant for proof coins, the special edition coins struck for collectors. But somehow, the wrong reverse die was used. And the Mint, to this day, has never officially explained how it happened. Imagine being the person who discovers one of these pennies in the wild. Imagine calling a dealer and hearing them say, "Do you know what you have? This is worth over $1 million." It has happened before with other modern pennies, and it can happen again. This is one of those quiet truths in the coin world. The most life-changing coins don't always look flashy. They look ordinary until you know the secret. Reset your attention again, because here comes another crucial detail. When you flip the coin over, look at Lincoln's portrait. On some of these rare 1998 pennies, the strike is unusually sharp, especially around the beard and coat. Not always, but often. These were made with dies normally used for high-quality proof coins, so the details can look cleaner, crisper, more refined than the fuzzy look of everyday pennies. If you see those sharp edges combined with the wide AM, you may be holding the real thing. Think about the emotional weight of that for a moment. All your life, you've held thousands of pennies without a second thought. But one of them, just one, could change everything. People spend their days scrolling through headlines, dreaming of miracle moments, hoping for a chance to rewrite their story. But for coin collectors, that miracle moment might be hiding in change that's already sitting on the kitchen counter. A $1.7 million discovery resting in a handful of copper. Let's reset again, because your focus here determines whether you walk past a fortune or recognize it in time. For the rare 1998 no mintmark penny, here's your simple checklist. Check the back of the coin. Look at America. A and M separated widely. That's the famous wide AM variety. Look at the strike. Are the details unusually sharp for a circulating penny? Pay attention to Lincoln's hair, beard, and the folds of his coat. Condition matters, but even circulated examples can be incredibly valuable. The biggest payouts, the ones reaching million-dollar territory, come from coins in near-perfect condition, but any genuine wide AM from 1998 is worth serious money. Point 4. No mint mark under the date. That means it was made in Philadelphia. No little p. Just the year sitting by itself. And now ask yourself the question that keeps collectors searching until 2 in the morning. How many of these pennies are still out there, completely unnoticed? You remember the night you first got curious about coins. Maybe you were a kid, maybe you were grown, but you remember the feeling, the possibility that something rare might slip into your hands without warning. That same feeling is alive right now, because this story is still unfolding. New discoveries still surface. People still walk into coin shops with a penny they thought was worthless and walk out stunned that million-dollar coins aren't only ancient. They aren't only gold. Sometimes they're copper, modern, and hiding in plain sight. And that's what makes this 1998 penny so extraordinary. It proves that treasure isn't always buried. Sometimes it jingles in your pocket. Focus again, because this is the moment everything comes together. If you've ever wanted to be part of a real treasure hunt, the kind that's still happening right now, this is your chance. Check your change. Check your jars. Check the pennies that have been sitting untouched for years. Look closely. Look carefully. Slow down and examine each detail, because the fortune you've been dreaming about might look completely ordinary until the light hits it just right. Somewhere out there, another one of these rare 1998 pennies is waiting to be found. And the person who finds it might be someone just like you. Imagine this. You dump out a handful of pennies, and one of them is quietly worth more than most houses in America. Not $1,000. Not 100,000. I'm talking about a coin so rare, so strangely overlooked, that collectors are now whispering values as high as $1.8 million. And the wildest part? It has no mint mark. It looks just like any other 2009 penny you've ignored for the last 15 years. But tonight, you're going to see it differently. Most people don't know this, but 2009 wasn't a normal year for the Lincoln cent. It was the 100th anniversary of the coin and the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. To honor that moment, the Mint released 4 different reverse designs: birthplace, formative years, professional life, and presidency. But the third one, the professional life design, that's where the mystery starts. Before we dive in further, let me reset your attention for a moment. If you're casually listening, lean in. This is where the story turns. Because what makes this coin valuable is not just the design. It's what was missing. The no mint mark 2009 professional life penny was produced in Philadelphia. Millions were made. They were everywhere: fast food change, couch cushions, glove boxes. But buried inside that enormous mintage, a microscopic number of coins came out with something very, very wrong. The kind of wrong that makes collectors' hearts race. Errors. Strikes that weren't supposed to happen. Variants that slipped through. Surfaces that shouldn't exist. And because the 2009 issues were never fully studied the way earlier Lincoln cents were, many of these coins are still out there. Unfound, unclaimed, unrecognized. Let me bring you into the story behind these coins. Picture the Philadelphia Mint in 2009. New designs, new dies, high-pressure production, teams pushing through millions of coins a day. When pressure is high and dies are swapped rapidly, things can slip. A die cracks. A hub misaligns. A planchet feeds incorrectly. Usually these mistakes are caught. In 2009, many weren't. Some professional life pennies have doubled steps on the columns. Some have extra thickness on the lettering. Some have split serifs on Liberty. Some show separated images in Lincoln's coat and the building behind him. And a very tiny handful, so tiny most collectors will never see one, show dramatic doubling so bold it looks like a shadow behind every detail. These are the coins sending prices into the stratosphere. Start with the front of the coin. No mint mark. Just the year 2009 and Lincoln's familiar profile. Flip it over. You want the professional life reverse, the one with Lincoln standing in front of the state capitol in Springfield, Illinois. Then look closely, closer than you ever have at a penny. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Focus on the words United States of America. On some rare coins, The doubling is so strong that the letters look shadowed, as if printed twice. The same is true for 1 cent and e pluribus unum. Real doubling will look like separate, raised images, never blurry, never smeared. Sharp, crisp, intentional looking, even though it wasn't. Then check Lincoln himself. His coat, his legs, the podium. On the $1,000,000 variants, the doubling is dramatic enough that even someone with aging eyesight can see it instantly. It jumps at you. It almost feels like the coin is vibrating. Another reset, because this is the part that gets emotional. Imagine you're sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through a jar of change you've ignored for a decade, and suddenly you see it. A tiny shift in the lettering. A doubled roofline on the building. That moment hits you like thunder. Your heart jumps. Your hands shake a little. Because you realize that in your fingers, you might be holding a piece of metal worth over $1,000,000. Think about that. A simple penny, something you've tossed aside your entire life, suddenly becoming the most valuable thing in your home. A life-changing discovery hiding in plain sight. In 2009, because of the recession, fewer pennies circulated. Millions of them sat in government vaults. Many never even reached the public. Collectors focused on the sets and rolls sold by the mint, but the errors weren't in those. The valuable ones slipped out quietly and unpredictably. Pockets, cash drawers, parking meters, vending machines, everyday places where no one ever thought to look twice. This is why so many collectors are convinced the next big $1,000,000 penny hasn't even been discovered yet. Attention reset. Take a breath. Let's go deeper into exactly what to search for. Look at the date. It must say 2009. Step: there must be no mint mark under the date. Confirm it has the professional life reverse. Lincoln standing tall with the Springfield building behind him. Step 4. Examine the reverse lettering for strong doubling. Step 5. Inspect Lincoln and the architectural details for any shadowed or split images. Step 6. Check both sides for unusually sharp rims or slightly raised edges, sometimes a sign of a misaligned strike. Collectors pay insane money for doubling that is bold, clean, and unmistakable. And if your coin is in high grade, meaning it still has that bright original shine, that's when $1,000,000 prices start entering the conversation. Now another reset. This part is important. Many people confuse machine doubling with true doubling. Machine doubling looks flat, shelf-like, smeared. It does not raise the value. True doubling is raised and looks like a second design stamped right on top of the first. If it looks shallow, flat, or scraped, it's not the one. But if it looks like a ghost image, deep, sharp, clean, you might be looking at a coin that makes history. As you listen to this, think about everything a single penny has survived. Years in circulation, tossed in pockets, dropped on floors, scraped across counters, lost under car seats, forgotten in drawers. And yet somehow, after all that, it still holds the power to transform someone's entire life in an instant. That's what makes these discoveries emotional. You're not just finding a coin. You're finding a miracle disguised as pocket change. You're now partway through this search in your mind. You're imagining that moment when the light hits the coin just right, and you see something strange on the reverse. Something off. Something rare. You turn it sideways. Bend closer. Bring it under a lamp. And then your stomach drops. There it is. That unmistakable doubled lettering. That double image behind Lincoln. Your heart kicks into overdrive because you know you could be looking at a $1,000,000 discovery. Condition tells stories. If your 2009 penny has razor-sharp edges, glowing red surfaces, and almost no scratches, it might have been part of the earliest strikes, the coins most prone to dramatic doubling. That's where the huge value comes from. Let's reset the suspense. You might think your chances are low, but think about how many people don't check their pennies. How many jars of change sit untouched for years? How many old rolls of 2009 pennies are still sitting in kitchen drawers, glove compartments, storage bins? The coin industry runs on the belief that the most valuable coins are still out there, waiting for the one person who finally looks closely enough, and that person could be you. Ordinary collector discovers $1,000,000 2009 penny. It sounds impossible until the day it happens that we're close to the end of this journey. But there's one more reset I want to give you. When you check your change next time, don't rush. Take your time. Turn each penny under the light like you're searching for a secret message. Because you are. And the universe rewards the people willing to look. A single doubled detail. A tiny line out of place. a shadow behind a letter. That's how fortunes are found. Holding a coin so ordinary, so familiar, that you've probably passed it through your fingers 1,000 times. Yet it could secretly be worth $1.9 million. That's the story of the 1984 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that blends into everyday life so perfectly, most people would never guess the truth. But today, you're about to see it in a very different light. It's late at night. You're emptying your pockets, half asleep, dropping pennies into that old cup on your dresser. And without realizing it, you might be tossing away a fortune. Because hidden among billions of common pennies is a mistake, a tiny, almost invisible error that turned the 1984 D penny into one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered. Before we get into how to find it, let me take you back to where the mystery began. It was Denver, 1984. The mint was pushing out pennies at a blistering pace. Billions of them. Rushing, polishing, striking, shipping. The machines never slept. And somewhere in the chaos of that year, one die, just one, slipped through with a flaw. Something microscopic. Something no one noticed. That flaw created a handful of pennies unlike any others. Pennies that collectors today would pay a fortune for. Pennies that some believe were never meant to exist at all. And here's where things get dramatic. The first collector who identified this error didn't even know what he had. He found it in pocket change, shrugged at it, tossed it in a jar. Months later, during a rainy afternoon of coin sorting, he spotted something odd, something that made his heart stop for a moment. A doubling, not just a small one. A clear, powerful spread that shouldn't have been there. And when he realized what he was looking at, he knew this wasn't just a penny. It was a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Now let's focus on what you need to look for. The key to identifying the 1984 D penny worth up to $1.9 million is a dramatic double die error. Specifically, the doubling appears on Lincoln's ear. Collectors call it the doubled ear. On a normal penny, Lincoln's ear is clean, smooth, and simple. But on the rare error coin, you'll see a second ear, a ghost-like duplicate sitting just behind the real one. It's not fuzzy. It's not subtle. It's clear enough that once you see it, you can't unsee it. Reset for a moment. Imagine digging through your change and spotting a second ear staring back at you. That single detail, that doubled ear, can change everything. But there's another twist. Some of these rare 1984 D pennies also show extra thickness in the date and lettering. Liberty looks bolder. The numbers look strong. The D mint mark sits perfectly in place, right above the doubling. It's the combination of all these signs that pushes collectors into bidding wars. Because when the right coin appears, it doesn't just sell. It explodes on the market. Let's reset again. Think about the feeling you would have if you flipped over a penny and felt that instinct. That little jolt that something is different. People talk about winning the lottery, but coin collectors? They dream about this exact moment. Now here's where the story becomes even more mysterious. The Denver Mint has never publicly explained how this doubled ear error happened. Officially, it shouldn't exist. Unofficially, some believe a worker noticed something was wrong, but it was too late. Too many were already struck. And instead of destroying them all, a few slipped into circulation. That's why the number of surviving coins is so small, so unbelievably small, that each one is a treasure. Imagine the emotional punch of realizing a common penny, the kind you leave on gas station counters, could change your life. And yes, this coin has sold for staggering amounts people never imagined a penny could fetch. $1 million prices aren't just hype. They are real. They are documented. And in the world of rare coins, lightning can strike twice. Now let's go even deeper into how to spot the real one. You need good lighting. Natural sunlight is best. Tilt the penny slowly. Look at the ear from every angle. The doubled ear will look raised, crisp, and intentional. It's not damage. It's not wear. It's as though Lincoln was carved with two ears layered on top of each other. And don't rush. Sometimes the difference appears only when you catch the coin at the right angle. Flip the coin around. Look at the date again. 1984, clear and bold. Make sure it has the D mint mark. No mint mark means Philadelphia. And for this specific $1 million variety, the Denver strike is the one you want. A missing mint mark instantly disqualifies it. The greatest finds always come from the least expected places. Not from coin shops, not from auctions, but from kitchen drawers, old coffee cans, forgotten piggy banks. That's where discoveries happen. That's where people change their lives with something as simple as a penny. Well, the odds are the same for everyone until someone decides to look. Every major discovery was made by someone who could have said the same thing, but didn't point one more emotional truth before we wrap. Coins like this carry more than value. They carry history. They carry mistakes, stories, mystery, luck, and the thrill of what if. That's why collectors chase them. That's why the 1984 doubled-ear penny isn't just worth money. It's worth the dream of finding something life-changing where no one else bothered to look. And yes, this coin has crossed the $1 million mark in value. More than once. That's why people talk about it with awe. That's why collectors keep searching. Because they know the next one is still out there, somewhere, waiting to be found. Take a breath. Now imagine opening a drawer, moving a few old coins around, and seeing that strange shadow behind Lincoln's ear. That tiny doubling that could send your heart racing. You're emptying your pocket change, grabbing pennies like you've done 1,000 times before, and one of them isn't just a penny. One of them is a ticket to $1 million life. Right there, hiding in plain sight. A 1988 Lincoln penny. Most people don't even notice it, tossing it into the jar with the rest, unaware it could make them unimaginably rich. This isn't just a coin. It's a story. A mystery that begins decades ago in Denver, where a tiny mint mark on a seemingly ordinary penny set it apart from millions of its brothers. The mint was churning out Lincoln pennies by the billions, and yet, a handful of them slipped through with a flaw so subtle, so perfectly hidden, that collectors today are willing to pay astronomical prices for it. Imagine holding $1 million secret in your hand and not even knowing it. It's not just age. It's not just rarity. It's an anomaly, a tiny detail that most people would overlook. The 1988 penny has a specific die variety, a double die on the reverse, sometimes faint, sometimes obvious if you know where to look. That doubling is what separates a common coin from a coin worth $1 million. Every ridge, every line on the Lincoln Memorial matters. If you catch that subtle doubling, you could be holding a fortune. Now, before you get excited and start shaking every jar of pennies, let's slow down. Identifying this coin isn't guesswork. You need to know what to look for. First, check the mint mark. The D for Denver is crucial. Then, inspect the date carefully. The doubling appears most clearly on the date numerals and certain letters in Liberty. Under magnification, those letters might appear thicker, almost as if they were stamped twice. That's the hallmark of the rare variety, and the reason why collectors are paying millions for something most of us overlook every day. Imagine the thrill. Picture a retired man, sitting at his kitchen table, sorting through a lifetime of pocket change. He pauses on a penny that looks ordinary at first glance. But then, under the light, the doubling jumps out at him. He holds it carefully, heart racing, realizing this tiny coin could change his life forever. That's the emotional power of the 1988 penny. One small coin, one life-altering discovery. This coin doesn't announce itself. It's patient, hiding among its cousins, waiting for someone who knows what to look for. The thrill of discovery comes from learning, from honing your eye, from understanding what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Every penny you examine is a potential treasure chest, every jar a possible millionaire's dream. In a world obsessed with gold and stocks, a single penny, forgotten in the shuffle, could be worth over $1 million. And that's not hyperbole. That's reality for the collectors who know the story, who know the markings, who know the secret that the mint never intended to share. To truly identify one, you need patience. You need the right lighting, a magnifying glass, and a methodical approach. Study the date and the mint mark first. Look for unevenness, doubling, subtle shifts in the metal. Compare with a known standard penny. The difference might seem microscopic, almost invisible, and that's exactly why it can be worth a fortune. Every collector has a story about the coin that got away, the penny they overlooked until years later when its value skyrocketed. But imagine the opposite. Imagine being the one who recognizes it immediately, the one who can hold up a coin and say, yes, this is worth over $1 million. It's not just luck. It's knowledge, observation, and a little bit of intuition. Now, let's talk numbers, because this is where it hits home. A standard 1988 penny might be worth a few cents. But that rare double die variety? The market has seen them sell for amounts that make people's jaws drop. $1 million figures, Not guesses, not exaggerations. And the best part? They're still out there, quietly sitting in jars, drawers, and pocket change all over the country. You could have one without even realizing it. The thrill isn't just the money. It's the story, the history, the connection to a moment in time when a mint worker stamped a coin just a little differently. That tiny imperfection turned an ordinary penny into a legend. That's the kind of detail that separates casual collectors from those who make life-changing discoveries. So the next time you reach for pennies, don't rush. Examine each coin. Look for the D mint mark. Inspect the date. Watch for doubling in the numerals and the word liberty. Every coin could be hiding something extraordinary. Every penny could tell a story worth $1 million. And let's not forget the emotional side of this journey. The excitement when you spot it, the disbelief when you realize what you're holding, the rush of imagining what your life could be like if this tiny piece of metal changes everything. That's the power of the 1988 D. Lincoln penny, turning ordinary moments into unforgettable, life-altering memories that in the end, it's a coin. And yet, it's so much more than that. It's history, mystery, and fortune combined. It's the reason collectors spend hours studying every detail, why auctions erupt in excitement, why someone somewhere might suddenly become a millionaire with the flick of a wrist. Imagine holding a coin that could change your life forever. A coin that, hidden in plain sight, could make someone a millionaire overnight. It sounds unbelievable, but it's true. Today, I'm going to reveal the shocking story of the 2006 D. Lincoln penny, a coin quietly tucked away in pockets, drawers, and jars across America, quietly waiting to be discovered. This is not just any penny. This is a coin that can be worth over $1 million. It all begins in 2006, the year when millions of pennies rolled off the mint presses. Most of them went unnoticed, spent like every other penny. But among those ordinary coins, a small batch was struck differently. An error, almost invisible, but incredibly valuable. And that tiny difference has made a handful of these coins worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. Imagine a mint worker carefully feeding blank penny planchets into the press, day after day, unaware that a tiny misalignment would create a coin that would one day be priceless. The story of this penny is mysterious because nobody knows exactly how many exist. Maybe dozens, maybe hundreds. But one thing is certain. If you find one, it could be worth $1 million. It's all in the details. Most 2006 pennies from the Denver Mint look ordinary. Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But this particular coin carries a rare error in the die that leaves a faint doubling on the words liberty and the date. It's subtle, easy to miss, and that's why it's been hiding from the public eye for so long. Collectors who know this coin describe it as a hidden treasure. Imagine the excitement of running your fingers over a coin, suddenly spotting that tiny doubling, realizing the coin you held for years is now worth more than your house. The emotional rush is indescribable. It's a mix of shock, disbelief, and exhilaration all rolled into one small, copper disc. Now, here's how you can spot it. First, hold the coin under good light. Look closely at the word liberty on the front. Normal pennies have crisp, single lines. The 2006 D-era penny has faint, almost ghostly doubling of those letters. Next, check the date. That same doubling can appear there, giving the coin an almost three-dimensional look. The doubling is subtle, but it's the mark of a coin that could be worth over $1 million. Even experienced collectors sometimes miss it. That's why attention to detail is everything. Every penny in your change, every coin jar, every loose penny in your car could hide a treasure. Most people throw these coins away, not realizing that just one could make them millionaires. Think about the people who've discovered these coins. Ordinary Americans, retirees, young collectors, just going about their lives, suddenly holding a piece of history worth more than they ever imagined. There's a thrill in knowing that something so small, so common, can hold such immense value. And that's exactly why you need to check your pennies. The mystery only deepens when you consider the rarity. Not every 2006 D penny carries this doubling. That's what makes the discovery so dramatic. You could search through hundreds of coins and find nothing. Then, in a moment of sheer luck, there it is. Your hand trembles, your heart races, and you realize you're holding a coin worth $1 million. Collectors warn that the doubling can appear in different intensities. Some coins show a faint hint, barely visible without magnification. Others have stronger doubling, making the coin instantly recognizable. Learning to distinguish these subtleties is what separates an ordinary penny collector from someone who could make a life-changing discovery. Local man finds million-dollar penny in pocket change. It's not fiction. This has happened before with rare Lincoln pennies, and it can happen again. But the key is awareness. You have to know what to look for, and you have to be ready to spot it when it appears. Searching for coins isn't just about money. It's about history, mystery, and the chance to uncover something extraordinary in the most ordinary places. Every jar, every drawer, every forgotten piggy bank holds potential. And when you finally find that coin, the emotional impact is unforgettable. You're holding a piece of history and a ticket to unimaginable wealth. Only coins minted in Denver in 2006 show this rare doubling. That small detail matters. The Philadelphia minted pennies, even from the same year, do not carry this same potential. Every collector needs to understand that precision. Missing a detail could mean overlooking a million-dollar coin. Think about the possibility of checking your own collection. You may have walked past this coin hundreds of times, not realizing it was hiding right under your nose. The thrill of discovery is what makes coin collecting addictive. Every coin could be the one. Every time you check, your heart races with hope and anticipation. This is why the story of the 2006 Lincoln penny is so inspiring. It's about ordinary people finding extraordinary fortune. It's about seeing value where others see nothing. It's about holding a coin that could transform your life and realizing that sometimes the most incredible treasures are hiding in the most familiar places. Millions of coins were minted that year, yet only a handful carry this error. That scarcity is what drives the incredible value. Imagine the pride, the disbelief, and the excitement when someone realizes that a coin they've owned for years is now worth more than $1 million. It's the ultimate story of luck, timing, and patience. Collectors who have found these pennies describe the moment as surreal. It's an emotional high that doesn't fade. They talk about the feeling of holding history, holding something rare, holding the possibility of financial freedom in their hands. That's what makes this coin more than just a piece of copper. It's a key to opportunity, a ticket to dreams realized. And now, it's your turn. Take a look at your pennies. Hold them up to the light. Inspect them closely. And imagine that one of them carries that faint doubling, that rare mark that can change everything. The moment you spot it, the world shifts. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. The mundane becomes priceless. This is the thrill, the suspense, and the inspiration of coin collecting at its finest. Each coin has a story. Each coin holds a secret. And for the 2006 Lincoln penny, that secret is a potential worth over $1 million. Every time you check a coin, you're not just looking at metal. You're peering into history, into chance, into the possibility of life-changing discovery. The 2006 Lincoln penny reminds us that incredible fortune can be hiding in plain sight.